Howdy, howdy, I'm Richard Hay, and this is Darrell Morgan, and we are going to talk to you
guys.
in another selective Texas 42 strategy video. In this case, about the topic of leaving trump in your partner's hand whenever you have the opportunity to do that instead of pulling it. That's so.
Yes. And this is, and we mean this when you don't know if your partner has another trump or not. So a good example would be if you were coming in deuces and you lead out double deuce, and all four players at the table each play a deuce.
And you have three.
And let's say your partner gives you two, three, the other player gives you two blank, and the guy on the end gives you 2-1. And let's say the 2-4 is the only other trump out that you don't have. A good strategy, in my opinion, is to, a lot of times, leave the trump out and pretend that your partner has it. You don't know for sure if your partner does.
It's only a 1 in 3 chance that they do.
It's a 1 in 3 chance, but sometimes it's to your benefit to leave it out and then hope that your partner trumps in on your behalf later on in the hand. A lot of players are just programmed, me included when I first started playing 42, you're programmed to pull all your trumps, pull all the trumps off the table. And there's a lot of players that do that each and every single time. They're scared to leave the trump out. But a lot of times it would benefit them to leave it out in their partner's hand. And so they could trump in on their behalf.
Yeah, I should interject one thing, is that when I see my opponents pull trump the second time and that it's their partner that had the trump, I always make fun of them and say, well, it's a good thing you didn't need them.
Yes.
Because they might have, and they get annoyed because they're like, I pulled the trump and I should have left it out there.
Yes. So my girlfriend has a quote, Leslie Sherville, that we're going to partner up in the Mount Vernon World Championship a week from now.
Correct.
And she said that she's going to die on that hill.
That's right.
Meaning
she's going to leave it out there.
She's going to leave it out there at opportune times.
Right. Even whenever she's reading the dominoes and it looks like Darrell doesn't have it.
Yes.
She's still going to say, wing it a prayer, we're going to believe he does.
Now there are times when, if say I leave the trump out and there's an opportunity for my partner to trump in and they don't trump in, that kind of tells me more often than not it's in the opponent's hand. And so then I come for it.
Also, when your partner is void on the first trick, they definitely don't have it.
Well,
so,
of course.
So then,
obviously,
then you're like, well, I'm not going to fish theirs, so I'll pull.
Yes.
Yes.
And typically your partner is going to give you the count to the trump suit.
Right.
So in the case of twos, if I come out with double two and say everyone plays a 2, but the 2-3 doesn't come out, I'm going to assume it's in the opponent's hands.
Right.
So in that case, I am going to come get it.
Right. So a lot of times, a good way to think about this is that people tend to play low to high, but not in the case of the count domino.
Right.
So if they had the 2-1 and the 2-3, they would give you the 2-3 first, even though it's higher than the 2-1, because they want you to know, hey, I have the 2-3. Now, even if you think, okay, well, they don't have the 2-1, then they want you to have the count, because otherwise you're definitely coming back.
Yes. And I can tell you there's been so many times in my 42 life where my partner's got the bid, and the only way I can help them is if they leave my trump out, because I have double blank, and I have like double 1, but I also have the 1 blank. And there's no way to get into my hand.
Yes, there was there was an occasion I was playing with Cole Kopnicki at the Dixie Chicken. And I played trump, and 3 people played trump, and one of the opponents was void. And then on the second trick, I played the second high trump, and the only 2 people that played trump were me and Cole.
His partner.
And then I fished a third time, and he had 3 trumps, but I took every single one of them. And then later on, when I had a 5 off, we died.
Yeah.
And he could have trumped in on the 5, and he didn't have a 5 from the very beginning, and then we lost because I fished all of his trumps and I took away all of his bullets. And then after that game, he sent me, he said, do you want to win? Do you want to win? I mean, and that's an occasion. Now, obviously, that was an egregious instance, but.
And Jody had a quote, I believe, one of his.
Jody's mom.
Was it Jody's mom?
Yes.
Had a saying that if you need your partner to have the trump, you just need to pretend they do.
Play like they do.
Play like they do.
Right.
You don't
we're
know
down to 20
do,
seconds left, so.
But just pretend they do. So guys, I think it's a good advice to try it out.
Right.
Especially if you're someone that never does that or hardly ever does
just
that.
Just
try it out. Stick your neck out and
sometimes
gamble,
it pays off.
And oftentimes it will pay off for you.
Okay, well, thank you and have a great day.
All right, thanks, guys.